Juror 10 says Hunter Biden knew he was an addict when he filled out that background check.
Hunter Biden seen hugging his father, President Biden, in Delaware after the verdict. An economic snapshot coming our way in a few hours.
We get two big reports on inflation today. This morning, the government releases the latest Consumer Price Index, or CPI, a look at what we're paying for many things month to month and year over year. A few hours later, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce it's leaving a key interest rate.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the video live stream. You're watching us on probably Facebook, YouTube, or X. And I'm Ken Lundberg alongside Al Pasholka is here.
Hey.
How you doing, Al?
I'm doing great.
You were talking about a comedy club in Niles?
Yeah, there's a comedy club in
There
Niles.
he
I
is.
did not know this. And
Okay.
Netflix actually filmed a special
Did they?
in Niles. And it's at the old Carnegie Library.
Oh.
And I learned about that yesterday at the Niles Chamber of Commerce
Okay.
annual luncheon. That was
That's
one
exciting.
of the award winners. But I got to go down and check that out. I love live comedy.
Yeah,
So,
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Have you ever been to any of the big shows? I
Yes.
remember seeing Robin Williams in at Central Washington University. My brother took me to that.
We saw Kathleen Madigan at in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
She played the Ryman. It was cool.
That is
it
cool.
was.
I can't imagine. I mean, a lot of people go to Nashville. They want to hear bluegrass. They want to hear country. Now it's just about every genre you can think of.
That place
You
is
went to go
crazy.
see comedy.
That place is crazy.
Yeah.
We were on our way back from Alabama and said, "You want to spend the night in Nashville? What could we do?" We looked and, hey, Kathleen Madigan's at the Ryman. Let's go. Yeah,
Wow.
That's cool.
That's great. Okay, well, we're going to talk with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College, talk all about things, education and workforce. If you have any questions for Al, put them into the comments on our live stream. We'll be happy to address that, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Two of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And taking a look at some of the news stories that we're following from the WSJM Newsroom, St. Joseph City Commissioners have accepted an easement on riverfront property near Corwell Health South as Friends of Berrien County Trails envision a new St. Joseph River Trail through that area. At their Monday meeting, commissioners heard from Mike Gary of the Trails Group. He said, while the efforts to finish the Marquette Greenway continues, the Friends are looking at how it could connect possibly to St. Joseph, and the idea is for a trail to go all along the river.
That's the big picture, this trail system throughout Berrien County that would go from New Buffalo to Niles Buchanan up to Berrien Springs, and then also from New Buffalo to Bridgman to St. Joe, the Twin Cities, and then going north to the county line.
However, the project is complicated because Gary said it will require easements from private property owners all along the river. Friends of Berrien County Trails met with those property owners last week to discuss their concerns, which included privacy, security, and liability. Chris Cook with the Friends said this trail idea is one that will take some time to develop.
This is the first step of what we think will be many steps and probably many years, but we had to start somewhere, and this is our start.
Under the proposal, the city would be responsible for the section of river trail that would pass through its limits. A trail along the river has long been in the city's master plan. Commissioners accepted the Corwell easement and voted to work with Friends of Berrien County Trails as the St. Joseph River Trail idea develops. The village of Stevensville is working to re-energize their downtown development authority. Since February, the village council has made efforts to reactivate the board to help with downtown projects. Village manager Casey Dominguez says there's a lot of impact that this board can bring, and leaders are looking forward to having it back.
Everyone's excited to get it going. There's a lot of impact that this downtown development board can have in developing the development plan for that area.
Dominguez says the village wanted to reorganize the board to get more community input, including on issues of how the downtown area can be improved. So far, the board has 6 members, and they're looking to brainstorm ideas about signage off the highway, lighting, and more. Dominguez says the goal is to create a long-term plan.
Everything is better when we have participation and input from those people who are, financially invested, they live there, or there's some kind of investment to see an improvement in that area.
Among the first undertakings for the Downtown Development Authority, once it starts meeting, is to work on a development plan and then find ways to finance it. The village is working through the last steps to officially create the board over the next couple of months. Lincoln Township is close to posting the position of township manager as the Board of Trustees moves toward a new form of local government. At their Tuesday meeting, Trustee Mark Florian presented to the board the job description for the manager's post. Trustees concurred with the language drawn up by the manager's search subcommittee, and now Florian tells us the search will move forward.
Right now, we just completed review of the job description. The job description will be the significant component of the posting that we will do for this position, which will occur sometime over the course of the next week to week and a half.
Trustees have opted to hire a township manager rather than have administrative duties handled by the elected supervisor once Supervisor Dick Stauffer steps down this year. Florian says as responsibilities in the township office grow, it would be prudent to have a professional manager rather than hoping a capable supervisor like Stauffer will continue to be elected every 4 years. Now, the position of manager will be posted later this month. They'll invite candidates in for interviews in August, and the plan is to have a manager hired in September. And finally, South Haven's Harbor Fest is set for this weekend. South Haven's annual summer kickoff event is set for Friday and Saturday. Games, a craft fair, the infamous beer tent all start Friday afternoon, followed by live music in the evening. A number of bands are included, and just a special call out, there's a Bob Seger tribute band. You like Bob Seger?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, who doesn't like Bob Seger? Sorry. Now I got your microphone on. Bob Seger. I mean,
old time rock and roll.
But
that is my karaoke choice. Are you kidding me?
If you're a tribute band for Bob Seger, you better be good.
You better be really good. And if they need someone to sing old time rock and roll, I'm in.
You're in.
Oh, I'm in.
That's your one.
Oh, that's my jam.
That's your jam. Yeah. Okay. Ken Van Horn, longtime president of Harbor Fest, says Al Pashoka, stay away. The rest of the event is going to be great. It'll be a great way to get the summer started in South Haven.
It's just a fun, family-friendly community event just to kind of kick off the summer season in South Haven.
The popular Dragon Boat races will return Saturday after taking a year off. Races begin at 9 a.m. at Riverfront Park. Van Horn says he and the community are glad that the races are returning.
People are excited. We have the big boats again, which we are grateful for, and we got 6 teams competing this year, so people are just excited to see them back. It's a tradition for a long time.
For more information or a schedule of events, you can go to the website southhavenharborfest.com. Again, that's happening this weekend starting on Friday. Let's look at some of the local news stories that we're following for you from the WSJM newsroom. I'm Ken Lundberg. You're listening to the WSJM Morning Show, and we have a special guest in studio right now. He's going to sing old time rock and roll for us.
Take those old records off the shelf.
You are good. You are good. Al Pashoka is here with an impromptu karaoke session. Keep going. No, that's fine. You do any Jackson Browne? I like Jackson Browne as well. We're going to be talking about LMC in just a moment. We're going to visit sports and get your latest weather forecast and be right back. That was really good. That was really good.
In sports, Lane Thomas hit a sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th inning to give Washington a 5-4.
Okay. You karaoke often?
Used to, and the last one was we were up in Holland at a conference, and yeah, they had karaoke, and I had to do Bob Seger. And it was people that I was with were like, well, that's actually not too bad. and I got a couple little moves, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
I gotta have
That's awesome.
It's fun. I mean,
that's awesome. How you doing?
Doing great.
What's going on? What's keeping you busy?
I'll tell you what. Well, I moved over and doing enrollment and marketing,
which
is putting me right in the mix of this whole admissions and bringing more people in, which is terrific. And this Berrien Talent Collaborative is kind of exciting that we've rolled out. So there's a lot going on out there. I mean, even though summer enrollment is up a little bit, we're up 3-4%. for that. So that a lot of that is kids coming back from a four-year school taking classes out at LMC, which is really smart,
Yeah.
saying it's a third of the cost.
Okay.
But this whole notion of workforce and what's going on in ecosystem, I mean, you had two stories.
Yeah.
I wrote down, when we look at creating an ecosystem,
Yeah.
what's going to drive and bring people here?
Yes.
I mean, things like Mike Gary's working on with trails.
Yeah.
That's a fit. What Casey's talking about with downtown Stevensville, trying to make it more of a destination. You got
Mhm.
Watermark, but what else do you got around that
Yes.
that can create traffic? That makes a better place to live. It's easier to attract people. I mean,
Right.
we've got to attract investment capital people into that ecosystem. So good stuff. And
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff the college is doing, same thing.
No, those are great points. Those are great points. We also had the story about the Wi-Fi network
Yeah.
created,
Yeah.
communities that create, that accessibility is whether you're at the beach or in the arts district or, like you say, walking a river trail. It's all adding to that whole quality of life picture
Yep.
of making it easy to be a resident and to enjoy what the area has to offer.
How many years ago we called ourselves the Sunset Coast? It used to just annoy me a
That
little bit.
that grinded your gears,
It
ground
did a
your
little
gears.
bit because it made it sound like we were the place you come to die.
Oh no.
It was like, oh, Sunset Coast is like,
We don't want that.
No, we don't. No, that's not what. Not that there's anything wrong with older folks. I'm being one myself now, but yeah, I mean, it just didn't. It didn't brand the community the
Yeah.
right way.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more with Al Pasholka on the airwaves here. I want to ask you about your background and how you got to where you are.
Sure.
Because I think
Yeah.
that helps people. I mean, because you are a fascinating individual. You've got a great story,
Yeah.
and you know numbers. You know numbers real well. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about that.
Well, my staff used to say, "Don't give Al the wrong number because he won't forget it."
We'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Partly sunny and much warmer today. We're going to end up around 85 degrees inland. We'll stay in the upper 70s, nearing 80 at the beaches. There's a slight chance of a scattered shower today. Partly cloudy tonight. We drop down to 65 and partly sunny and hot again tomorrow. We'll see 80s all across the board. We'll see 80s at the beaches, but we'll be in the mid to upper 80s inland with chances of a few storms. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
All right, and it's going to be a good weather day. As Carrie Peugeot mentioned, it's going to be sunny, and we started off the morning around 59 degrees. We've crept up a couple of degrees since then, and it's going to get real hot in here real quick because we have 2 men with 2 red shirts on in the WSJM studios. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's the WSJM Morning Show. My friend this morning is Al Pasholka. Good morning.
You and I have something else in common.
What is
and
that?
I looked this up on your LinkedIn site.
Oh, no.
We both attended a community college.
Yeah, I did.
And I can't even pronounce the place you went to. It's in Central
Wenatchee Valley.
Washington.
Yeah, Wenatchee Valley College.
I went to Delta College.
Okay.
You wanted me to say a little bit about my story.
Yeah.
I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan in the 1970s. 35,000 people worked for General Motors. Great place to grow up.
Yeah.
But then as the 80s hit and those plants started to close down, entirely different atmosphere. What we saw across the Rust Belt everywhere, whether it was Muskegon or Benton Harbor or anywhere else. But some people have heard this story. Some have not. I know I've talked about this with some school kids in Berrien County, but my story is not unlike a lot of kids that grow up today. My dad left the family. I was 10 years old. I had no contact with him. He paid no child support. He was not a good guy. And so I grew up in a single family household and back then, my mother didn't want to accept any kind of assistance, so we lived with Grandma and Grandpa. So we moved in with Grandma and Grandpa, and I lived in the attic with my sister and my mom. My mom was really my first great mentor because she taught me how to be tough, how to be determined, how to have some grit, how to have some determination. And it was not easy growing up. And I went to Western Michigan University right out of high school and not prepared. I was more of an academic late bloomer anyway. I was a handful. I mean, played sports, had a lot of buddies, had a girlfriend in high school. I had a lot of distractions, right? I could have done a lot better academically, but I chose not to. And went to Western, had a lot of fun first year, didn't do much academically, came back home. And then really two things happened. One, I got a job. I was tired of being poor. And even when you're poor and you're a kid, you kind of know you're poor, right? I mean, you know that. And so I was tired of being poor. And I said to my mom, I want to get a job. I just want to make some money. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of eating hot dogs. Hot dogs were a story today. And macaroni and cheese. I want to do something different. Little did I know, she called my uncle. And my uncle worked at Midland Dow. And he called me and said, do you have a pair of steel-toed boots? I had no idea what steel-toed boots were. I said, no. He said, go down to Kmart. This is how old the story is. Go down to Kmart, get some steel-toed boots. Meet me at Bay City Road exit at Midland Dow, and I'm going to have a job for you. And I said, what am I going to be doing, Uncle Hank? And he said, you're going to be a Gandy dancer.
A Gandy dancer. What in the world is that?
It has nothing to do with a pole, right?
Thank goodness.
Gandy dancers are railroad construction. They're laborers. And so I was part of a crew. And I also learned that I was part of a crew that was the low bidder. So we did everything by hand. So I learned to swing a 10-pound hammer.
Oh, man.
And we carried the ties with picks, and we carried the rails with, we carried them manually and laid them down and spiked them down. And it was a great job. It was hard work. It was a hard hat every day. And after about 11 months, I went into my uncle's office and said, you know what? I think I'm going to go back to school.
Wow.
And what changed my life was a Michigan history class. I'll never forget it, at Delta College. And it was Michigan History 237. I found out later that met some people actually here in Southwest Michigan that also had that class. The prof had written the book about Michigan history, and it turned me on to academics again, got the juices flowing. I went back to Western, and the last 2 years I was on the dean's list.
Wow.
And it took that life experience to really, but if the community college had not been there, you and I wouldn't be sitting here talking today.
That is an amazing story. I mean, because and what you bring to light is it sometimes takes people a little bit of growth, a little bit of growth, a little bit of real world experience to understand these really are the choices that I'm responsible for, that I'm accountable for, and then having those options, those opportunities to go. I mean, if you knock at the doors of UW, U of M, or Notre Dame, or any of the others, they're not going to let you in until you can show you're serious about what you're doing. You did.
Yeah, no, if Delta College had not been there, literally, I would not be here. And it allowed me to get back into college, build those relationships and those networks that led me to Southwest Michigan. Would not have been back in Southwest Michigan probably if I had not gone back to Western Michigan University.
Yeah, and you've had a fascinating career in between then and Lake Michigan College.
Yeah.
Maybe just a brief.
Well, we started out in broadcasting, and then when WSJM bought us out,
sorry about
had
that.
to find another job. So worked at Cornerstone Alliance doing the Community Partnership for Lifelong Learning. That was a great opportunity. It was a business education partnership, not unlike a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now, trying to create business education partnerships and collaborations. Had the great opportunity to work for, and I spent some time yesterday with Fred Upton. And Fred had called me and asked, he said, I need a good community guy to run my district offices. And my first response was no.
Okay.
And my second response, after Fred's a rather persistent individual, I found out. And second time I talked to Fred, I said, okay, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
And he said, well, you get to work on the Harbor Shore stuff and the permitting and the things that had been going on. And I said, okay. So got to spend 7 years on staff with Fred Upton, which was what an education, right? And learning about how to get things done and public policy and constituent service. And then in 2010, some folks down here came to me and said, hey, Al, why don't you run for state rep?
Mm-hmm.
My wife said, that's your dream, not mine.
Wow.
She's always very supportive of everything I do.
Yeah.
And I ran for the state house, and great opportunity there to make a difference in Michigan, and passed 64 bills in 6 years.
That's a
some
lot.
of them people liked, some of them people did not. I will be honest about that.
Well, at least bills were getting passed.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
we were getting a lot done, but came back to the community. And then a couple years ago, Dr. Kabatsky approached me at Lake Michigan College, and he was looking for some help out there on the millage, on some other things. And he had kind of watched me over at Connexus, and finally I said to him, I said, what is that you want me to do?
Yeah.
And if you really want to get excited, talk to community college students. Because every day when I park my car out in the lot and you're walking in and you're talking to community college students, it is a microcosm of the country. You hear all sorts of stories. Recent high school grads who are just starting out, people who are in their 40s coming back to get upskilled and reskilled. I met a woman who was 60 years old on the elevator who started talking to me, and she recognized my name and she goes, I want to come down to your office and talk to you. And I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And she came down. We spent 45 minutes. She's from Indiana. She was taking wine and viticulture out at LMC, the only working winery, teaching winery in the Midwest, may I add.
Okay.
Just a fascinating discussion. So everybody at every different point in their life is out at Lake Michigan College trying to find that next opportunity. And that's the beauty of community colleges.
Yeah. And so we're talking with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College. And one of the trends that we saw really take hold during the pandemic, and it now seems to just be turning, is enrollment.
Yeah.
Enrollment in community college and enrollment in college higher education overall has faced significant challenges. But just looking at the headlines this morning in preparation for this, colleges are finally seeing some growth in enrollment, according to the latest data.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Why did it go
higher
down?
Ed, you know what? There's some criticisms of higher ed that are warranted. And one of them, I would say, and picking on my four-year friends a little bit, is the cost.
Okay.
The cost of higher ed. What Dr. Kabatsky will talk about, we've got a cabinet meeting at 9 o'clock. I know we're going to hear it again, is access to LMC. How do we create better access to LMC? And to go to Lake Michigan College, where we have 24 of our 54 full-time faculty have doctorate degrees. This is a quality place to go to school. This is not, hey, we're just going there for a little bit. There are quality programs. There's quality people that are teaching those every single day. But higher ed has got to find a way to be competitive in the marketplace for people to come and train. That's why we started Red Hawks Futures. So kids coming out in the class of 23 and 24, 2 years, free tuition at LMC, as long as you don't take a break. You come to school, you're taking 12 credits, tuition is free. If you look at the various programs that we've got out there with financial aid, there's an opportunity, if you just come out and talk to us, that you can get classes for next to nothing, because community colleges are funded in a different manner. 52% of our revenue comes from property taxes. Thank you, property taxpayers of the LMC district who supported the millage a year ago. That's where we get a lot of our revenue, 25% from tuition, 16% only from state appropriations, and about 9% is private money. So that's our model's a little bit different. We're able to deliver quality at an affordable cost for just about anybody. We've got lots of different courses that can meet you where you are and get you to a better place.
And we want to talk about more of that. We're visiting with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College. We want to talk about the Berrien Talent Collaborative. We want
Yeah.
to talk about some of the other workforce information that you can share, the data on what is it we need in this area and what are we doing about meeting that need. And it's going to be coming up next on the WSJM Morning Show.
Loan rates are trending downward. Are you ready to make your move? Sturgis Bank's expert hometown lenders will guide you through the process and take the time to make sure you're ready to.
I had no idea you worked on the railroads.
Yeah. Wow. What
It
a
took
tough
you
job.
took you 11 months to figure that out.
And in the
I bet
winter,
you got bulked up.
and in the winter,
Yeah.
I was never in such good shape in my life. In the winter, we had to ride the trains with the CNO and B&O guys who were
Yeah.
switching all the cars at the plant, and they wouldn't get out and sweep the switches, the snow out of the switches.
Oh,
So we had to
man.
ride along. These guys are like,
Remember we're on the
Remember Chew? It's the first time
Oh, yeah.
I ever
Oh,
had
yeah.
Chew.
You had Chew?
I had Chew.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there, and the guy, the switchman, says, "Hey, kid, try some of this." And I'm like, like, oh my God, this
yeah.
stuff was awful. But we had to sweep out the switches. So I made decent money. I mean, all the overtime and everything else.
Hmm.
But man, that was a tough job.
Did you get a railroad pension?
No,
'Cause
this
it wasn't
was a
the actual
non-union-
railroads.
No, this
Yeah.
was a non-union shop.
That's a
Yeah.
bummer. Wow. And so 11 months and
American
then
Railroad. Was,
American Railroad.
Trenton, Michigan.
Do you know have you gone back to see the tracks that you helped with? They've probably
No,
been
they did
maintained
have a
since
major
then.
derailment, and we
Oh.
did a mile of track by hand.
Really? That's tough.
Oh.
And then you get back to Lansing often?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Anything
do.
interesting happening there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're following things right now because the budget's going on.
Okay.
And we've got a couple little things we care about. One is the free community college proposal that the governor came out. What's that going to kind of look like? We've got a request in for some funding for the BTC.
Yeah.
That we're working with Rep Andrews on. So we had community college day where we take some students up there with us
Okay.
to kind of lobby. So I get up there about once a quarter or so.
With
It's part of my job.
with making LMC, with making community college overall so affordable, and the four-year institutions, a lot of them going the opposite direction and becoming incredibly expensive. How does that work? What's happening there? Where's it going to break?
More people are going to go to the community college, I would
Yeah,
hope.
you would think.
Yeah. I mean, and see that as really, and the 4 years were not happy with that proposal for free community college. They were not.
Really?
Well, because she put it in the Michigan Achievement Scholarship bucket.
Okay.
So they thought it was taking away from them. What they don't understand is they got to start dropping their tuition and fee rates.
Yeah.
Or they're just not going to be competitive.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go 2 years tuition free at Lake Michigan College and then transfer to
Yeah.
Michigan State or Western
Did you play football?
in high school? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did your community college have a team?
No.
Okay. Neither.
Grand
well,
Rapids
no,
was the only one that had a team.
I take it back. Mine had a team. They had a football team. I chose to enroll for a quarter or two until my parents wised up. Well, they didn't wise up. They wised up to me. I was in the ski program because we had mountains, and so snow skiing. It was great.
Okay.
And then it took me a little longer to finish community college with real classes. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, I don't know if the ski program's there anymore. I know the football program is gone.
Yeah.
And so, are there things that take the place of those intramural type of
Yeah,
activities?
we've been adding sports. So we
Okay.
added cross country, right?
Okay.
And we had a national champion this year. Olivia won the national championship, kid out of St. Joe. Yeah,
Okay.
she won every race she was in.
Here, hang on, hold that thought. We'll be
Yeah.
right back. And we will continue our conversation with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College in just a couple of minutes. We're going to check national news from ABC here in just a moment, also our local news. And a reminder that if you're not already, you can check us out on the video live stream, get exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Just go to Facebook, YouTube, or X and type in WSJM. You can find our feed there.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A lot of people will be watching two economic reports out today. First, we will get the Consumer Price Index for the month of May. It's a snapshot on inflation month over month and year over year.
All right. We talked about your background. We talked about Lansing. Let's give people just a little bit of background, and we'll do this again a little bit on the air. But the Berrien Talent Collaborative, that was a big announcement for you.
Yeah, no, that's
what
gonna
is
be
that?
exciting. So that is a way to create registered apprenticeships for students here so that they have an actual pathway to a job. So the idea is we looked at 2022, the class of 2022, only 40% of the kids went on to any kind of higher ed or any other kind of training. 60% were just out there. And the big question was, well, where are they? Right? Where?
Hang on.
WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Sorry about that, Al. We were getting into such good conversation. I had to cut you off and then come back and do the local news. So we'll get back to our conversation with Al Pasholka from LMC in just a moment. But taking a look at some of the local news stories that we're following for you today, bringing free to the community Wi-Fi to the Benton Harbor Arts District. Cornerstone Alliance held their ribbon cutting yesterday to celebrate their nearly completed project in Benton Harbor. The agency has used a $200,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to deploy free Wi-Fi in 5 strategic locations around the city. And now anyone can log in and use their web browser on free Wi-Fi in those areas. Cornerstone City Commissioners and supporters gathered at Union Park, which is one of the free Wi-Fi locations for that celebration. We'll tell you more about the project status, and where they just still need a little bit of completion before the project is done. Also, as he prepares to step down, we'll find out a little bit more from Cornerstone Alliance President Rob Cleveland, who's reflecting on a busy 9 years. He's leaving Southwest Michigan and Cornerstone Alliance next month, heading off to Louisiana for a new economic development position. So we'll ask him a little bit about what his time held here in Southwest Michigan. And you may have seen an article or two on social media ranking Michigan's 83 counties by the quality of their roadways. We caught up with a couple of county road supervisors and directors to ask them a little bit about Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties. What's the condition of the roadways here? Why are we ranked near the bottom in that ranking as far as... Go ahead.
We're trying to play catch up after 10 or 12 years where we didn't build any roads.
Yeah. And maintain as well as we could have those that were already here. So playing catch up, that means dodging potholes.
Yes.
In a lot of areas. So we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up at 8 o'clock. And then finally, some patience being asked by the Director of Transportation for the state of Michigan as those road blossoms, so the orange road blossoms are all over the place. That and more coming up in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll have a look at sports, come back and talk more with our guest today. It's Al Pasholka with the Lake Michigan College Group, talking about the Berrien Talent Collaborative. We'll explore what that is and how it came about coming up next.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. In West Michigan, Kentwood police are asking for the public's help.
All right, microphones engaged. What's your fan group saying? Are they saying good things?
Yeah. The feed is active this morning.
Did you hear Al sing, Bob Seger?
I didn't know that about Al. Oh my God.
I cut you off mid-sentence, and I'm sorry about that. Berrien Talent Collaborative. How did it come about?
Yeah, so in 2022, and this is something that had been talked about, how do we do a better job with students who maybe aren't going right to college, right? So the governor's got this initiative saying 60 by 30.
60
have
by
some
30.
sort of credential, right?
Okay.
Berrien County, 2022, coming out of the pandemic, 40% of our students graduating went on to some form of training or higher ed. 60% didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Are they working? Are they in the basement? what are they doing?
Right.
There's got to be a better way. We got 1,800 graduates a year and 60% of them we can't find. There's got to be a better pathway, right? So we looked at how could we do Department of Labor registered apprenticeships with the K-12s and the community college, connect them to business so that students had an opportunity to live here, work here. And this gets at the base issue of population, right? We keep harping on, well, what do we do to build population? One of the things you do is you connect your students with an actual job opportunity where they can make money. So when we went out to business, and Arthur Havlicek and Ryan Boscool from both chambers, and Arthur's been really active in this. He did some training, had a fellowship at Washington, D.C. We came up with the Berrien Talent Collaborative. So it's the RESA, the college, the two chambers. We work with Michigan Works and some other folks too, to try to create this system where in 11th grade, you start selecting what you're making some choices earlier, but in 11th grade, you're kind of narrowing it down. And in 12th grade, you're going to school half a day and working half a day.
Okay.
And getting credit, right? We've already got the early middle college program and some other things. So what the commitment for business is, and we actually talked to the radio station about this. They like this idea.
Yes.
This is a way to build your talent base. What you find with apprenticeships is 95% of those people stick because you're paying them as you're training them. So the question for business is this. Number one, would you hire them?
Yeah.
They all raised their hands. Oh God, we need talent. Will you pay them? Will you mentor them? And that's the process we're going through right now. So we're signing up businesses. The RESA's we donated a building down in Niles that helps establish kind of a South County tech center. Though we still have classes down there. LMC is still involved in Niles.
So they can hold that there.
But so they can do some training down there with the districts down there. We're wide open up here. Come use the Hanson Tech Center, use the buildings, use our healthcare training facilities. So we're going to create a system where we have a tech center without a building.
Okay.
Think about that.
Huh. Yeah. That's
Kalamazoo's
amazing.
spending $100 million on
Giving
a tech
them real
center.
life hands-on
This
stuff.
is going to be real live, hands-on, connected to companies. Barbara Craig, who now reports to me, is out running around signing up businesses to get them involved. So this is another pathway for folks to be successful. And maybe they all don't come to the community college.
Yeah.
And we're saying that's okay. We know at some point in time, they're going to need additional training. You're going to need upskill. You're going to need to be reskilled. And that's what we're there for.
This is like the field of dreams, right? If we build it, they will come. They being the students getting trained and getting apprenticed. How are you helping the young people understand by 11th grade? Who knows what's going on in their minds these days?
Yeah.
How are you getting them prepared to think about these
It goes
things?
way back. It goes back into middle school. They start to do some career exploration. They start to do some things inside the K-12 system that identifies things that they like to do, that they might want to be interested in. So it's a whole continuum from probably 6th grade all the way to 11th. And then hopefully we're going to have a menu of businesses and companies that they can connect to. And here are your pathways, right? It's exciting. It is the only countywide apprenticeship model in the state. So we're trying to do it countywide with all of our K-12 districts. And Rick Seeger at Waterville said the other day, he wants every student at Waterville High School to take a college class before they graduate.
Wow.
So we have dual enrollment. We have early middle college. And this is another way to build workforce, and a young workforce that can stay here, buy their first car here, buy their first home here, have a career here. We don't have to spend millions of dollars to try to bring them back.
Yeah.
That happens here. You know that. I mean, folks leave and then in their 30s, they come back, right? We want them here the whole time. Let's build the population and grow Southwest Michigan.
That would be amazing. What resistance do you face?
Just the usual government red tape, right? I mean, DOL is not the easiest to work with. These are actual registered apprenticeships through the Department of Labor. What we have seen is that's getting a little bit easier. They've condensed the time that it takes. I mean, as long as you have everything in place, there is a DOL office in Michigan that we can utilize. It's in Detroit that we can work with. That's probably the biggest thing. And getting companies to recognize, oh, I'm going to have to pay these folks as they're training.
Okay. They're stepping up. They're going to pay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good pay.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are, and some of them start at a certain rate, right?
Okay.
Lots of different opportunities out there. I didn't know you can apprentice just about any job.
Yeah.
In Germany, they apprentice 7 million or 9 million job titles.
Wow.
We do about 250,000 in the U.S.
Yeah.
But that's growing and that's expanding, and that's going to change.
Yeah. Include us in that because
we've already come out and talked to Dave,
Good.
and
Okay.
yeah, Barbara's been talking to Dave, and there might be even some of the tech stuff that Terry does that perfect for that.
Yeah, because you have the technology and the shift in technology that's required to run communications operations, media operations like this one, for instance. You went from sticks out in the middle of fields that are broadcasting to radios to everything now that having to be computerized. Video that we're doing right now.
I mean, when I first did radio in '82,
yeah,
I had an engineer sitting there, and I was sitting over there.
Oh, you're working in that room
over there, doing the news, and they were playing carts over here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I gave the engineer the script. I didn't touch anything.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't play your own cards?
No, I didn't even play my
you had
own
it easy.
cards. I edited tapes. I put them together. I handed them to him. Well, this was public radio.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yes,
All right.
WMUK.
That's good. Did you ever have a different radio name? You always Al Pasholka?
I always went with Al Pasholka.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about going with Kevin Bacon. I think that'd be a good
Kevin
radio name.
Bacon.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Bacon.
Afternoons.
And here's the afternoon pork report.
Yeah. No, I always stuck with that.
That'd be good. We're talking with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College. He's talking about your Red Hawk future. I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Red Hawk Futures.
That's good stuff. We'll be back in just a moment, and we've got to continue the conversation. At some point, I need to have you talk about Joey Chestnut because, I mean, there's nothing not funny about hot dog eaters. Major League food.
I just didn't know there was Major League
eating contests
I didn't
or
know there
whatever.
was a league.
We'll talk in a moment.
Features the company is planning, despite the fact the technology is still imperfect.
And the reason it's doing that is because it feels like it has to. It has to keep up with companies, especially like OpenAI, for example, that are creating generative AI technologies that are threatening Google's core business, which is delivering information to people through Google search and thus delivering them advertisements that allow Google to make billions and billions of dollars pretty much every day.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
From grown-worthy dad jokes to patching up skinned knees, your one-of-a-kind dad deserves a Father's Day gift guaranteed to take him to his happy place, Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com and order unconditionally guaranteed, mouth-watering gift packages starting at just $99. Use promo code QUALITY at checkout for an extra $10 off. Show your dad the love. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY at checkout for $10 off your order today.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Partly sunny and much warmer today. We're going to end up around 85 degrees inland. We'll stay in the upper 70s, nearing 80 at the beaches. There's a slight chance of a scattered shower today. Partly cloudy tonight. We drop down to 65, and partly sunny and hot again tomorrow. We'll see 80s all across the board. We'll see 80s at the beaches, but we'll be in the mid to upper 80s inland with chances of a few storms. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And they tell me there's some rain showers happening. Yeah, they were north of us. I didn't think they would be heading this far south. But anyway, so we might have a little bit of rain showers as you head out and get to work this morning. But we're talking with Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College this morning we're talking about, obviously, community colleges. We're talking about the Berrien Talent Collaborative. And if you miss that discussion, you can go back and listen to it or watch it on our video live stream. We just had an extensive talk about that and the good things that it's doing. But one thing that we wanted to touch on before we talk more about Joey Chestnut, the one thing we want to talk about is the wages. You wanted to bring forward some of the wage information on community college and different levels of education.
Ken, this is some data that came out from the Michigan Statewide Workforce Plan, from the MEDC, from Leo, from the governor's office. And this is really, really interesting. And for you parents out there, wondering maybe what should your kids be doing in the fall, think about this. This is the median annual wages for educational attainment. This is 2023 data.
Basically, what you can expect to earn if you get certain degrees.
Yep, at a certain level. If you drop out of high school, $12,000
a year.
A year.
Yikes.
If you've got a high school diploma, goes to 20.
Okay.
If you have a 1-year certificate, 44,000. Big difference there.
Yeah.
If you have an associate's degree, 45,000. Bachelor's degree, 47.
Huh.
That has really narrowed.
So the difference between an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree, there's
about $3,000.
There's not. That's probably almost in the margin of error.
About $3,000. And what Dr. Kabatsky talks about a lot that we don't talk about a lot is an associate's degree or a certificate can make a difference of $22,000 a year. Now, you and I are probably going to work 40 years. That's about $1 million.
Yeah.
And when you consider inflation and everything else, that's the difference between stopping at high school and just going on for a year or two. And with the opportunity to do it tuition free or at a really reduced cost or a third of the cost of a 4-year school, this is a great opportunity. So this was some information that was put out by the governor's office last week. And it was the one thing that really kind of, I was like, whoa, we don't talk about this enough. Now, they also do after 5 years. So now after 5 years, the bachelor's degree goes up to about 63 and the associate degree about 51. So there's where there's a gap. But starting wages coming out, if you've got a certificate or an associate degree, it's within $3,000. The margin of error, as they might say on a poll, for a bachelor's degree. So get out there, get the experience, get connected. I mean, that's why community colleges are here.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you're battling right now? I mean, if we see college enrollment, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about your enrollment numbers. We saw that trend into the pandemic, and then the pandemic exacerbated it of lower enrollment. But we've seen it turning more online.
Yeah.
We've seen it turning the corner. What's happening? What's the state of play?
Still heavy online. There's still, I mean, we have the opportunity at LMC. You can take a class online or you can take a class in person.
I mean, I've had classes online.
Last year we started to see more students on campus, which is great. I mean, it's just such a cool vibe, right? I mean, we've got sports, we got a dorm, we've got all these things out there. And to just see more students on campus is exciting.
Yeah.
Enrollment right now, I mean, if point in time, I mean, our registrations are up 50, 60% over last year.
That's great.
And I credit that a lot to our admissions team and the work that our student services staff has done in really going a little bit old school and finding out where are people. What are our high school kids really doing next year?
Right.
Let's go in and talk to them. Let's show them what the opportunities are. And they've done a great job making those connections with the K-12s. So we've seen a bump there, but we're also seeing a bump among people. And here's an interesting stat. I know you like numbers and I like numbers. Within 30 minutes of the Benton Township campus.
Right.
Okay. These are people 18 to 34 years old. We have 35,000 people who have some college, no credential. That is a huge market for us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an opportunity there for folks to get and gain. We've talked about doing an online associate in business, much like Southern New Hampshire. Why can't we do an online associate's degree in business from Lake Michigan College? and market that across the country. I mean, there are just various ways now to supply content, get people engaged, get them involved. And LMC's looking at all that stuff, and we're doing much of it.
Yeah, and part of the I think misperception of the online, the virtual experience, especially when it's at the college level, is you miss some of that camaraderie, but that's not necessarily the case. And I can speak from personal experience. I've had online university classes, and you start with a group, you stay with that group, and you get to know that group, and I'm still connected so many decades later.
Yeah, and when COVID hit, I mean, Lake Michigan College went virtual. Great job by the IT team, but the embrace that the faculty had to do online.
Right.
I mean, it's not for everybody,
Right.
But they've done a great job incorporating that and making it part of the mix.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, Lake Michigan College, where can people go for more information on that?
LakeMichiganCollege.edu. You can find everything you need there. And again, if you're a grandparent or a parent out there, just encourage your students and your young people to look at Lake Michigan College. There's 75 different programs that can get involved in, everything from advanced manufacturing to healthcare to nursing. I didn't even mention our nursing program, one of the best in the state of Michigan. We had more of our nurses pass than U of M nurses.
No kidding.
Nana, boo, boo.
Percentage-wise or real numbers?
No, we had 100%.
That's great.
Somebody
Good
flunked
job.
at Michigan. We beat them. So you want quality?
Congrats.
Look at us.
Love it. Talking about quality hot dogs, the Nathan's Hot Dog July 4 hot dog eating contest is coming up. Joey Chestnut, the perennial winner, will not be there. Are you sad?
He screwed up. I mean, come on. You don't, like you talked earlier, Michael Jordan is Nike. He doesn't show up at the game wearing Adidas.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
And the other thing, I did not know there was a major league of eating. Do they have a commissioner?
They have.
Do they have a draft?
There's a representative. They must have a draft, a commissioner. There's probably, I don't know.
Is there a union? Is there the Major League Eaters Union?
The Major League Eating. Yeah,
Okay.
representative. Joey Chestnut missing out on $1.2 million over the next 4 years, unless he can mea culpa and say, I'm sorry, I won't eat the Impossible hot dog. I'll go back to eating meat.
What a weenie.
Man, that is good. Al Pasholka, everyone. We'll be back with your Moody on the Market update next. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Man.
Okay, that was Radio Gold when you said, what a weenie. That was great. Love that. Love that. Diane, thank you for weighing in and saying that you remember Al on the radio.
Which station?
Which station was that, he asks? Was that Cozy? Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's been watching on the live stream. Thank you to Al Pasholka for joining us on Lake Michigan College. I got to get back and do the Moody on the Market thing here in just a moment. But thanks for coming in. You should come in and co-host sometimes.
Anytime. Let's do it.
Really?
Yeah, let me know.
Okay, I will. You got to get up early,
I got
though.
mornings. No, I've done mornings before. I'll tell you, here's
Yeah.
what you're going to find.
All right.
Your body clock will not change.
For
When
what?
you start doing mornings.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wake up really early.
Oh, so I'm set now forever?
You're stuck, man. Once you start doing mornings, it's 3:30, 3:45. I'm like,
The best thing is I love mornings. I love getting up. I love waking the dog up, going out and hearing the birds wake up and everything else. So it's great. And setting the coffee maker.
yeah,
going.
let me know, bud.
All right, we'll talk
But,
soon. All right,
yeah,
thanks.
As long as I'm out the college vibe.
All right, we're going to end the live stream here in a couple of minutes, but hang out just a moment. Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. No, stay by. Yep.
Small businesses account for 43% of cyber attacks annually. Don't become a statistic. Contact us today and let's chat about keeping your data safe and your business running smoothly. Visit MidwestDataDepot.com or call 574-855-8588. That's MidwestDataDepot.com or call 574-855-8588.
Hi, this is Pat Moody. Want to be in the know of what's happening in the business community here in Southwest Michigan? Then I recommend you check out Moody on the Market.
And I'm Ken Lundberg, news director for Moody on the Market. When you go to moodyonthemarket.com or open the Moody on the Market app, you'll find fresh daily stories focused on what's happening in our business community, interesting people you should know or be in the know about, as well as stories about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here.
Plus, we'd love your tips regarding potential stories and topics we might cover that you feel matter. Simply seek out the Contact Us tab at the website or in the app and send us your tip.
And we recommend you activate your notifications. Turn those on so you receive our stories as soon as we post them. Plus, sign up for our daily newsletter, which will be waiting for you in your email as you start your day.
So be in the know about what's happening in our business community day in and day out at moodyonthemarket.com and the Moody on the Market app.
Moody on the Market is a service made possible by your friends at Midwest Family.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And thanks again to Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College for coming in and being one of our friends this morning. Talked a lot about a lot of community college topics and higher education overall in the apprenticeship program that they're starting, the Berrien Talent Collaborative. If you missed any part of that interview or if you didn't check it out on the video live stream, there's a lot of information. We talked about a lot of aspects there. I would encourage you to take a listen. All right, so now we're going to do the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And this was a fun one to put up on the website this morning. We're calling all barn finds. The crew from the History Channel's show American Pickers has announced that they are putting the call out to both Michigan and Ohio residents that they will be coming to our state soon. Exactly which town, where in Michigan, when, we don't know all the details yet, but they posted on their social media that the producers of American Pickers are looking for the collectors of odd, unusual, and story-laden things. They're looking in Michigan, they're looking in Ohio, and if your stuff and your story are interesting enough and they know about it, the production might come to you and film an episode of American Pickers. It's a popular antique collectible show, and they will film this August. What they said on their Facebook post is, oh, hey there, Ohio and Michigan, the Pickers are coming through your state this August, and they're looking for the rarest, junkiest, and best collections in the area. If you or anyone you know has a collection, don't wait till it's too late. The Pickers are excited to dig and find some rusty gold. They say there are 3 ways to contact them. They've got a phone number for calling. You can text them as well, or there's an email. And if you want to take a look at that, it's right there at moodyonthemarket.com, the full article. The producers, by the way, make clear that they will not accept stores, shops, antique malls, anything of that like. It's got to be private collections only. So if you've ever watched the show, you know that they pretend to just be running down the road and they find somebody who has an interesting collection of things maybe rusting in their yard, or they have a lot of barns with collectibles inside. They stop, they talk to the owner, they look at the things, they try to buy some things, and then they put them back in their shop after they restore. So it's a really fun, interesting show. They say it's not your grandmother's antiquing. The American Pickers are on a mission to recycle America, even if it means diving into countless piles of grimy junk or getting chased off by a gun-wielding homeowner. But hopefully they won't do any of that in Southwest Michigan. But that's the Moody on the Market update today. And again, it's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles. It's the WSJM Morning Show, and we'll have news coming up in just a moment.
If you see someone smiling today, it's a sure bet they've been to the Big Deals online store.
All right,
see,
thank you
the grin
for
is just
joining
unavoidable on the face of someone who's safe.
Do that button. Sorry about that. Thanks for joining the live stream on the video this morning for the WSJM Morning Show. We will have more tomorrow. Starts at 7 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thanks. See ya.